All right, buckle up, listeners, because we are diving deep into Warhammer 40k with Crusaders of Dorn.
Ooh,
And
a deep cut.
it's a deep cut. It's not sunshine and rainbows. This is all chain swords, bolters, and Black Templar.
No, it's grim, dark as it gets.
So, expert speaker, for those of us who haven't quite pledged our souls to the Emperor yet, what makes this collection stand out in a universe already full of chain swords and bolters?
You're right, there's no shortage of action, but Crusaders of Dorn, it really takes us into the heart of the Black Templars chapter.
Okay.
Their unwavering faith, their struggles with doubt, and the price they pay for their endless crusade.
Oh, man. I'm already feeling the weight of that Imperium Nihilus vibe.
Yeah.
We're talking about stories interwoven across different campaigns.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Each tale offers a glimpse into the Black Templars' brutal existence, but they all kind of build upon one another and create this larger narrative about this never-ending war against anyone and anything that doesn't swear fealty to the Golden Throne.
Sounds intense. But before we go full-on heretic and incur the wrath of the Inquisition, let's back up for a second for those who might not be familiar with the Black Templars.
Okay.
We're talking Space Marines,
Uh-huh.
but like even more hardcore.
Oh, yeah.
So lay it on us. Who are these guys? What makes them unique, even among the genetically engineered demigods of the Imperium?
Okay, imagine this. Your average Space Marine, right?
Okay.
A walking tank, superhuman abilities, a lifespan that makes Methuselah look young. Now amplify that dedication to the Emperor like tenfold.
Okay.
Throw in a vow of perpetual war,
Goodness.
and you've got yourself a Black Templar.
Okay.
These guys make the World Eaters look restrained.
Wow.
They are all about crusading, eradicating heresy xenos. They are the Emperor's burning wrath made manifest.
Okay, that's terrifying and awesome at the same time. But hold on. Never stopping, you say.
Yeah.
They just cruise through the galaxy, purging and conquering. They don't even stop for like a celebratory mug of recaf.
It's core to their chapter's identity. You see, they're descended from the Imperial Fists, right?
Okay.
Who were known for their very stubborn, some might say insane defense of Terra during the Horus Heresy.
Right.
But the Black Templars take that stubbornness and just crank it up to 11.
Wow.
They believe that their Primarch, Rogol Dorn, was lost on a crusade that never ended.
Okay.
And so they see it as their sacred duty to continue that mission in his name. To even consider stopping would be anathema to everything they believe in.
Talk about commitment. But they're still ultimately loyal to the Emperor, right?
Oh, yeah.
They're not some splinter faction that's about to go full-on chaos on us.
Oh, absolutely. Their faith in the God Emperor is absolute. They don't just venerate him, they live and breathe his every word, every statue, every prayer. To question the Emperor is heresy. To disobey him is unthinkable. And it's this unwavering belief that fuels those endless crusades.
Okay, we got blind faith, endless war. Sounds pleasant.
Mm-hmm.
So where did these stories actually take us? Are we talking one giant war zone, or are these crusades spread across the galaxy?
Oh, the Black Templars don't discriminate when it comes to purging heresy.
Right.
So this anthology throws you headfirst into these really diverse and brutal settings. One moment, you're freezing your power armor off in this wasteland of a planet called Grave Core.
Uh-huh.
Imagine Hoth, but way worse.
Okay.
The next, you're navigating the horrifying organic structures of the Scyther fiends, a xenos race that will give you nightmares just thinking about them.
Frozen wastelands, creepy alien hives, classic 40k.
Yeah.
But this being the deep dive and you promising a unique take on the Black Templars, I'm guessing it's not just about epic battles and bolter porn, right?
You're absolutely right. While there's no shortage of glorious melee combat, this is Warhammer 40k after all.
All right.
What sets Crusaders of Dorn apart is this exploration of the psychological and spiritual toll that endless war takes on even these superhuman warriors.
Wait, hold up. Psychological and spiritual toll on the Black Templars.
I know, right?
The guys who make the Adeptus Astartes look emotionally fragile.
Exactly. That's what makes it so fascinating. We see these stoic, seemingly unbreakable warriors grappling with doubt, questioning their actions, and confronting the potential emptiness of a life that is solely dedicated to war.
Okay, now that's something I didn't expect. It's one thing to read about them purging heretics by the battalion, but it's another thing entirely to get inside their heads, to see the cracks in their faith.
Yeah.
Can you give me an example?
Absolutely. One story focuses on Brother Brusque, a Black Templar, who starts to question the righteousness of his actions, wondering if there's a limit to the brutality he can stomach in the Emperor's name.
Whoa, internal conflict in a Black Templar. Never thought I'd see the day.
Right.
We'll dig into that more in a bit, but before we do, I need to know more about these Scyther fiends you mentioned.
Okay.
They sound like more than your average space bug.
They are a lot to unpack with the Scyther fiends.
Welcome back to the deep dive, where we are still braving the warp storms of Crusaders of Dorn, exploring the dark side of faith and fury that defines the Black Templars. Before we went full heresy with those intriguing Scyther fiends, we were talking about the mental and spiritual strain that comes with being a superhuman warrior monk dedicated to endless war.
It's a lot.
You mentioned Brother Brusk struggling with his conscience, which honestly blew my mind a little.
Yeah, it's a testament to the anthology's depth, you know?
Right.
It would have been easy to just depict these Black Templars as bloodthirsty fanatics, right?
Right.
But Crusaders of Dorn digs deeper. It questions the cost of such unwavering zealotry.
For sure. And that's what makes it so compelling, right?
Yeah.
It would be one thing if Brusk were some low-ranking initiate, but this is a veteran warrior. We're talking about someone who has stared countless horrors in the face and never blinked. What finally pushes him to that breaking point, beside the whole grim darkness of the 41st millennium thing?
Yeah, the tipping point for him comes during the compliance of a world they believe has fallen to heresy.
Okay.
Remember you were asking about Gravecore earlier?
Oh, man, that icy hellscape.
Yeah.
Please tell me they found a way to weaponize blizzards?
It's worse. The Black Templars uncover evidence that suggests that the planet's leaders made pacts with demons in exchange for power.
Oh, no.
So Brusk is tasked with leading a squad to root out these heretics, and it's during this purge that he encounters a group of civilians that are seemingly innocent devout, even.
Oh, I see where this is going.
Yeah.
Classic 40k dilemma face versus the horrors you have to commit in its name.
Exactly. The question of whether to follow orders or listen to his conscience just tears at Brusk.
Right.
Does he obey the dictates of his chapter and risk the lives of these potentially innocent people, or does he spare them and potentially allow heresy to fester and spread?
Talk about a no-win situation. So what does he do?
Well, I don't want to spoil it for the listener,
Okay.
but I will say this. The consequences of his decision reverberate throughout the rest of the anthology and really force him to confront the true nature of faith and duty in a galaxy consumed by war.
Man.
And, for someone like you interested in leadership in high-stakes scenarios,
Yeah.
Brusk's story offers a lot to unpack, even beyond the usual 40k action.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
These little nuggets of moral complexity are what elevate Crusaders of Dorn beyond just another bolterfest.
Right. It's not just Brusk wrestling with these internal struggles either.
Yeah.
Even High Marshal Helbrecht, the chapter master of the Black Templars, isn't immune.
What?
We see him haunted by these casualties. His chapter has sustained the sheer scale of the violence they've unleashed,
Wow.
even questioning whether their endless crusade is sustainable or if it's slowly grinding them down into something less than human.
Whoa, seriously. We're talking about the dude who makes Sly Marbo look like a choir boy. Does that doubt ever, make it out into the open? I can't imagine a crisis of faith goes over well with the Black Templars.
It's subtle, but it's masterfully woven into the narrative.
Okay.
There is this really poignant scene where Helbrecht is gazing upon a battlefield littered with the bodies of both loyalists and heretics, and he reflects on the cost of their victories, muttering a prayer to the Emperor asking for guidance for strength. Even the mightiest warriors can be shaken by the horrors that they witness.
Now, that's heavy. And it makes you think, right, if someone like Helbrecht, this paragon of faith and fury, can be rattled by the realities of endless war, what does that say about the Black Templars as a whole? It adds a whole new layer of depth to their fanaticism.
Precisely. It reminds us that even beneath the ceramite and the righteous fury, there's still a flicker of humanity within these warriors.
Right.
And that's what makes their struggles so relatable, even if we're not, genetically engineered killing machines on a mission from this God Emperor himself.
Right, I don't have a power fist or a hatred for heretics that burns with the fires of 1,000 suns yet.
Sure.
But I can still empathize with that feeling of questioning your purpose, of wondering if the cost of your convictions is too high.
Right, and the anthology doesn't shy away from exploring these themes in different contexts. For example, in the story Only Blood, we see a small squad of Black Templars tasked with holding a field hospital on the war-torn world of Armageddon against impossible odds.
Okay, first of all, Armageddon. Talk about being thrown into the fire, literally.
Yeah.
Second, defending a field hospital. That's not exactly the glorious planet-breaking warfare I'd expect from these guys.
Exactly.
Okay, yeah.
It showcases another facet of the Black Templars' character.
Oh, okay.
Their unwavering dedication to protecting the innocent, even when it means sacrificing themselves.
So it's a last stand story then? Hold the line for the Emperor, all that jazz?
It's more nuanced than that.
Okay.
They're vastly outnumbered by orcs, low on ammo, and taking heavy casualties. What's remarkable is how the story portrays these bonds of brotherhood that form between these Black Templars and the terrified, outmatched guardsmen that they're fighting alongside. It's a reminder that even in the darkest depths of war, even when facing certain death, humanity endures.
Okay, you're really selling this one. What stood out to you most about Only Blood?
For me, it was the quiet moments of camaraderie between the battles.
Okay.
You have these Black Templars, these superhuman figures, taking the time to share stories with the guardsmen, offer words of encouragement, even crack jokes to lighten the mood. It humanizes them in a way we rarely see in other Warhammer 40k stories. It's not just about mindless violence, it's about the connections we forge in the face of adversity, the sacrifices we make for those we care about.
I can already picture it. Now, bolters running dry, chain swords getting dull, and a Black Templar covered in gore and glory, cracking a joke to a terrified guardsman, reminding him that even in the face of oblivion, there's still something worth fighting for.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Those small moments of humanity, they shine through the darkness, reminding us why the Black Templars fight what they're willing to die for. And for a chapter that's often depicted as fanatical and merciless, it's these glimpses of compassion that make their stories so engaging.
Man, I am so ready to dive into this anthology. But before we get completely lost in the warp, let's shift gears a bit and talk about those creepy crawlies we mentioned earlier, the Scyther fiends.
Oh, yeah.
They sound like more than just your average cannon fodder xenos.
Oh, they are far more than just another snarling alien menace to be purged. They're a fascinating study in contrasts.
Okay.
Physically frail, yet possessing a strained, unsettling power.
Right, you successfully piqued my curiosity.
Yeah.
Give me the rundown. What makes these Scyther fiends so unique, even in a galaxy teeming with terrifying creatures?
Okay.
Welcome back to the deep dive, where we're still knee-deep in the grim darkness of Crusaders of Dorn, dissecting the Black Templars' brutal existence one bloody campaign at a time.
And facing off against those Scyther fiends.
Oh yeah, last time we were talking about those creepy, unsettling xenos that sound like they were ripped straight from a grim, dark fever dream.
Straight out of a nightmare.
Expert speaker, you were about to spill the beans on what makes them so unique. Hit us with your knowledge, because you know I'm a sucker for anything strange and terrifying in the 41st millennium.
Well, prepare yourself, because these guys are a wild ride, even for Warhammer 40k.
Okay.
Imagine, if you will, a creature with like these spindly limbs,
Okay.
this disturbingly elongated head,
Uh-huh.
and absolutely no eyes.
Oh,
Like a cross between a praying mantis and a deep-sea creature from your worst nightmares,
Well,
all wrapped up in this like disturbingly fragile-looking package.
okay, you're not wrong about the nightmare fuel, but you said fragile looking? What makes them so tough that they can go toe-to-toe with the Black Templars?
Their biology is where things get really interesting.
Oh.
Imagine bones made of crystalline structures, blood that's basically liquid fire, and the ability to shift between these physical forms and beings of pure energy.
How about back up a second? Pure energy. We're not talking about your run-of-the-mill plasma pistol here. What does that even look like?
That's the thing, it varies.
Right.
In some stories, they're described as like beings of blinding light flitting in and out of reality. In others, they're like these shadowy figures, almost spectral, draining the life out of anything that gets too close.
All right, now we're venturing into some seriously unsettling territory. No wonder they send the Black Templars after these things.
Yeah.
Your average guardsman would probably just surrender to the nearest grot. Yeah, they're creepy.
But it sounds like the Black Templars might have bitten off more than they can chew with the Scyther fiends.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially when you consider what else lurks in the darkness. We have to talk about the title story of the anthology, The Uncanny Crusade, because that's where the Scyther fiends' true nature and the danger they represent take center stage.
All right, lay it on me. What's so uncanny about this crusade? Does it involve like dancing demons or something?
Worse, in a way.
Oh, no.
The Black Templars stumble upon a derelict Scyther fiend vessel, adrift in the Ghoul Stars,
Okay.
a region of space known for being, well, exceptionally spooky.
Right.
They think they're going to board the ship, purge some xenos, and be on their merry way.
But there's always a catch in Warhammer 40k, isn't there?
Right, you are. Instead of finding a ship full of hostile aliens, they find something far more disturbing.
Uh-oh.
The Scyther fiends on board are dead, completely drained of life, like something just sucked the psychic energy right out of it. And then they encounter those shadowy creatures we were talking about earlier. No way. Are we about to enter full-on spoiler territory?
We're about to breach the hull and deploy the boarding party, so buckle up.
Hit me with it.
Those shadowy figures, they're not demons or some unknown warp entity.
Right.
They're Dark Eldar.
What? You're telling me those sadistic pirates from the Webway are mixed up with all of this? That just makes zero sense. They're all about torture and stealing souls, not cleaning up after a xenos infestation.
That's what the Black Templars think, too. But here's the thing. The Dark Eldar aren't there to fight the Black Templars.
Okay.
They're there to hunt the Scyther fiends.
Okay, now I'm really lost. What could possibly make the Dark Eldar interested in a bunch of creepy crawlies, even if they can turn into beings of pure energy? Last I checked, torture doesn't really work on something without a physical form.
You're forgetting what sustains the Dark Eldar, what fuels their entire civilization.
What's that?
Psychic energy.
Yeah.
And what are the Scyther fiends chock full of?
I'm seeing where you're going with this.
That's right. Raw, potent psychic energy. To the Dark Eldar, these things aren't just a threat. They're a delicacy, a feast for their soul-hungry kind.
So the Black Templars walk into a derelict spaceship expecting a fight, and they find themselves stuck between a space bug buffet and some of the most sadistic, depraved beings in the galaxy. Talk about a bad day at the
You're
office.
starting to get it. The Black Templars, with their unwavering faith and their love for a good chainsword charge, are suddenly forced to fight on two fronts against enemies that don't play by the rules.
Right. You can't just leave me hanging like that. How does it all go down? Do they team up with the Dark Eldar, or does everyone just start killing each other?
This is Warhammer 40k, remember?
Right.
Alliances are fleeting, especially when there's psychic energy on the menu. What ensues is this chaotic three-way battle royal with the Black Templars stuck in the middle.
Oh my.
But here's the kicker. The Scyther fiends aren't just helpless victims in all of this. They've got their own plans, and both the Black Templars and the Dark Eldar are just pawns in a much larger and much more terrifying game.
Okay, that's officially messed up. And this isn't a book with space marines who ritualistically drink the blood of their enemies. I have to ask, how does it end?
Let's just say that by the time the Emperor's light shines on the battlefield again, very few walk away unscathed.
Oh my goodness.
The Black Templars learn a very hard lesson about the dangers of underestimating your enemy, especially when those enemies are warp-infused psychic space bugs and soul-sucking pirates from another dimension.
That sounds like an ending worthy of a Black Library novel, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But for those of our listeners about to embark on this crusade with Crusaders of Dorn, what's the key takeaway here? What makes this anthology more than just another gore-soaked adventure in the 41st millennium?
Crusaders of Dorn isn't afraid to go to some dark places, both literally and metaphorically. It peels back the layers of the Black Templars, revealing the weight of their faith, the burdens they carry, and the questions that haunt even the most devout warriors. It's a reminder that in the vast, uncaring universe of Warhammer 40k, even the most righteous crusaders can find themselves fighting battles both within and without.
Well said. Remember, folks, in the grim darkness of the 41st millennium, there was only war, and sometimes the most terrifying enemy is the one that lurks within your own heart. Until next time, may the Emperor guide you, and may your bolters never jam.